Fucking hell.
Okay, so let's rewind back to how we got the car running. The issue we have is when pressing the clutch, it's not disengaging the clutch at all. So you can't change gears without it grinding, feeling like you're not even pressing the clutch. So something is definitely wrong. So we can't actually drive the car. We can start the car, we can hear it idle, rev it up, but we have yet to move the car under its own power. So let's explain the clutch from when you push your foot down on that pedal to the engine power being disengaged from the transmission. So you press your foot on the pedal, that pushes brake fluid from the master cylinder down your line to our slave cylinder. The slave cylinder is a piston that's going to push out on the clutch fork. The clutch fork pivots and pushes on the clutch diaphragm. The clutch diaphragm is like a spring that will push in and it will pull and separate the clutch plates. So starting from the top, we know our clutch fluid reservoir is empty and we know that the fluid had to have gone somewhere. So we're going to be looking for a leak and we're going to start with the master cylinder. As we can see, it's in terrible condition anyway. But let's just see where it's losing all the clutch fluid. So first off, we took off the reservoir. So if we look inside the cabin at the car, the other side of the master cylinder, we can actually see it's covered in clutch fluid here. So we know that's the leak. So we just take out the master cylinder. And I bench tested it and it is leaking past its seals. And we could buy a rebuild kit for it, but we're just going to get a whole new Brembo one. So we're unpackaging some of the new stuff that came here. We got a new clutch fluid reservoir, so that'll replace our old cracked one. And we got our new Brembo clutch master cylinder. So this is a look of it out of the box. So we'll get this installed and we'll see, does this fix our problem. Okay, so we got the new master cylinder installed for the clutch and we got our clutch fluid reservoir. We also had to make a join here for the new clutch line because it loops around, because this Brembo master cylinder is a lot shorter than the old one, actually fits a lot better, and that's already bled now. Yeah, so that didn't fix our problem. We tested the clutch after installing the master cylinder, bled the master cylinder, and so new reservoir and master cylinder, we still have more issues. So let's make it down to the clutch slave cylinder. So going under the car, we're adding our clutch bleeding tool here. This is if you only have one person, so you don't have someone pressing the clutch in and out for you, so we can open and close the bleed nipple. We install it here and we then go into the car, press on the clutch pedal, and you'll see all the bubbles that will flow here. So we need to get all the air out of that line until we have a smooth, heavy clutch feeling in the pedal. And then we can come back down here, close off the bleed nipple, and that should be fully bled. How this tool works, by the way, so you would open the bleed nipple on the slave cylinder, you attach this on. When you press in the clutch, you're pushing the fresh fluid from your clutch reservoir through the line down to the slave cylinder here. It's pushing any air out, and it has a non-return valve that won't let any air enter back into the system. So you can push it as much as you like, and we're only pressing fresh fluid through the system. Now that it's bled, we're going to close back up the line here and we're going to test out the clutch once again and see if it works. It didn't work. So next thing to diagnose it is we took the slave cylinder out of the casing and we're going to push on it to see, does it extend? And you don't actually want to do this because we overextended it here, but we're getting a new one anyway, so it doesn't matter. But the main thing is that it did extend, but since none of this solved our issues, we're going to need to remove the gearbox. So let's go through an unboxing on the parts we have to get then to fix this clutch problem. So while we're down there, we might as well do the crankshaft seal. Got a gasket for that as well. This is our new Brembo slave cylinder. This is our full sachs clutch kit. So we have our clutch disc here. Looks beautiful. Then we have our pressure plate, or our clutch diaphragm. Get it out to show you here. And we have our release throwout bearing as well. I'll give you a look at the slave cylinder outside of the box as well. It looks like it'll fit. Back underneath the car now, I'm going to show you what's in the way that needs to be removed before we can take out the gearbox. So we have our exhaust, and the exhaust manifold bolts look fairly rusted, and like with the heat cycles, it's not a great idea to try pull it off there. So there's two joins on the exhaust just past the manifold, and the manifold comes down to the side, so it looks like it's completely out of our way. So we need to remove the center section and the back box of the exhaust. We'll need to remove the drive shaft, which you can see up there. We'll need to remove the gearbox support there at the back. We also have a cable going into it, which is actually for our speedometer in the dash. It's a manual one, so it twists inside. This is a Getrag 245 gearbox, 5-speed. Heading up top here now, we just want to see how accessible are the gearbox bolts that mount from the bell housing to the back of the block. And it looks like they're going to be accessible, like the top ones, from the back of the engine here without having to pull the engine. So that's all good. Okay, so the picture I'm showing you here is to give you a better idea. This is the actual gearbox's bell housing that we're going to be taking out. So there's 6 main big bolts that we're worried about, and then a couple of other small bolts. So that's what's holding the gearbox to the engine.
A few moments later.
So the car's now in a million pieces. We've the gearbox out. This is our flywheel taken off. We need to resurface this and get it nice, flat and smooth. So we have the new clutch, pressure plate and throwout bearing ready to install now. I was showing you the new clutch here just so we can compare it to how the old clutch looks, which we pulled out, that I'll show you in a moment. What we're going to do next is we're going to go underneath the car and we're just going to give you a look at how the back of the engine looks right now. You're going to see like there's just oil covering the engine everywhere, and a lot of that was from oil leaks like the camshaft seals. We had the rear main seal leaking, the oil pan gasket was leaking, so we're going to get that all cleaned up. We're going to put the new clutch on. So I'm going to show you the old pressure plate and clutch plates here now, and you can see, I mean, the clutch was just absolutely welded to the pressure plate, so that's why we weren't getting any clutch. Yeah, so I don't know if this was just from the car sitting for 10 years that it stuck like that, or was it heat. All I know is it was not breaking free, and we tried a lot of things. So yeah, best thing to do is the full new clutch kit, and we're gonna put it in now. So okay, so that's the flywheel, clutch and pressure plate back on now. When putting this all back together, you need to make sure that the clutch aligns up perfectly in the center of the pressure plate. If not, you're gonna have issues putting the gearbox back on, rough shifting. We use a clutch alignment tool, which I'm showing on the screen right here, but you can eyeball it just as long as you make sure that it's centered before you put it back. While we're at it, might as well do a gearbox oil change. So we're going to be using Castrol Transmax ADW. This is a look at the gearbox drain bolt. A lot of metal filings from what I assume is someone trying to shift gears without any clutch. To remove the gearbox, we needed to take the back box and center section out of the exhaust, and it was in pretty bad condition, fairly rusted. It's actually got some holes in it, so we're not putting this back on the car. We're going to do a 2.5-inch stainless manifold back exhaust. This is our new custom exhaust on now. It's a 2.5-inch stainless with a custom back box as well into shotgun tips. The exhaust does sound good, but to be fair, the car is running rough. That's down to we need a rebuild kit on the carburetor, so we will get to that. And the car is back driving, shifting gears nicely and smoothly. Thanks for watching part 4 of the E21 rebuild series. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Okay, let's try a cold start.